Welcome to Success from Scratch, your place for innovation, creativity, and the blueprint of success from peak performers just like you. Welcome to Success from Scratch, and my special guest today is Cheri, the founder of Bank Code. Welcome, Cheri.
Hey, how's it going? I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so we're here in Texas. I think it's 105 today. You're there in Laguna Beach, and
it's perfect here today.
I haven't seen the ocean yet, but you're probably looking at the full-on view of the ocean.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it.
Yeah. Well, love that you're here with us today and sharing with our audience what's made you successful and a little bit about Bank Code. So,
yeah.
So tell the audience just a little bit about yourself and your history.
Yeah, well, the concept is, like any entrepreneur, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad and got myself really motivated and wanted to be an entrepreneur, wanted to be a business owner, wanted to make a lot of money. And Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, said, if you want to be really good in business, you got to get great in sales.
Right.
So I jumped in with both feet in a full commission model and started off as a financial advisor. And my first year, I crushed it out of the ballpark. I made $700.
$700 in year one?
In year one, 700 total. I was the worst person on the team. And the only reason they didn't fire me was because I was free labor. They couldn't believe I kept showing up.
So you were like me in college. You must have eaten a lot of ramen.
Yeah. I mean, you learn how to survive on credit cards and do all those other crazy things. But that's kind of where the story begins. And obviously, things changed along the way, but I had to figure out what was broken and what was missing and fix it.
So you went from 750 in your first year to what was the progress to where you really felt that you were, in a sense, in your mind, financially successful?
Well, for my first 5 years, I basically studied. I realized that if I didn't want to go back and have a job and I wanted to truly create independence for myself, I needed to really figure out this sales concept. So I began studying every sales training program I could get my hands on. I mean, I read the books, I listened to the audio programs, I attended the seminars and webinars and hired coaches and paid them thousands of dollars, money I didn't have and had to finance. And over that 5-year period, I got my income up from 700 to 72,000. And my company said I was successful. They gave me a nice title. They gave me some responsibilities. They sent me on a few trips. But the irony was I didn't feel successful at all. I felt like I was the opposite of that. I was $30,000 in credit card debt, living in an apartment, couldn't qualify for a home, and was playing the fake it till you make it game, driving a BMW with a salvage title. So it reminded me of this other quote from Robert Kiyosaki. He said, stop taking advice from people more messed up than you. And I'm like, wait a minute, he's talking about me. So this is kind of when I had that defining moment. And I think anytime you meet these successful business people who make millions of dollars, something happened along the way. I wasn't born into money. I come from a military family. Right. I had to figure it out. So what I discovered was what I call the missing link. And that missing link was one of the greatest impacts in my entire life. And what was missing in the sales process, I built as an experiment to see if it would work. And my next year income went from $72,000 to over $500,000, a 695% increase in 1 year. And within 3 years, my income was up and over the $1 million mark. By 33 years old, I was making over $1 million a year. And it was as if I went from zero to hero, and everyone who knew me was like, what the heck just happened? What did Cheri eat? What did Cheri drink? Like, what did Cheri do that created the zero to hero outcome? And now I spend my whole life traveling around the world teaching it to top producers and high achievers, or those that aspire to be, because there is a secret and I'm passionate about teaching it.
Wow. So congratulations on your personal success. And let's maybe unpack that a little bit and tell the audience, because now they're going to figure out, well, what is this thing and how does it work? So you obviously, through your personal experience, cracked the code or figured out the science of what triggered that change in your result. Because going from 750 in your first year to $500,000 to then millions is not by accident or not by, chance. So what did you do that created the system and the science behind your success?
Well, the single biggest thing that I realized was that in all of the sales training that I was taking, there's a lot of great sales training programs out there, and this is not a knock on them, but they all had one thing in common, and that is that they lied to me in a form. Right. What they told me was that sales was a numbers game, and that in order to get more yeses, I had to get more what?
You had to get more no's.
More no's.
Right.
And it's like every person can answer the same answer. We've been brainwashed into believing one of the greatest lies ever told. Because you guys are smart people. The truth is, in order to get more yeses, you actually have to get more yeses. So Mark, I began my journey with trying to figure out, instead of getting more no's and chasing the no, I started trying to figure out, how do you get the yeses? And was there a systematic, scientific way that I could get the yes and collapse time where I could get the yes much faster? So I actually found and developed a technique that was designed to triple my income and double my time off kind of simultaneously. And I got to live the best of both worlds, making more money and having the time to enjoy it. So that secret, what I ended up inventing is a program called Bank, B-A-N-K. Mm-hmm. What we teach our clients how to do is how to crack the personality code and take it to the bank, meaning your bank account. And I wrote the book, Why They Buy, because what we found is that most salespeople are trying to study sales training and sales techniques instead of investing into answering the only question that really impacts their bottom line, which is, why do they buy? Why does the customer buy? What makes them say yes versus no? And what we developed with our bank system using personality science, but reverse engineered. So if you've heard of DISC or MBTI or the color code or any of those personality type assessments, we reverse engineered it. And instead of it being about you, it's about the customer and why they buy or why they say yes versus no. Wow. And ultimately what our system did is it teaches salespeople, business owners, entrepreneurs how to predict the buying behavior of their customer in less than 90 seconds. So that just creates an amazing impact for someone, and it allows the salesperson, the realtor, the financial advisor, the home-based business owner, whatever industry they're in, it allows them to service the customer at the highest level of respect, authentically, and still win the yes with no manipulation whatsoever. So that's...
So instead of psychology, I would call it biology.
Yeah. Biology, spelled B-U-Y-ology, right? The science of buying behavior, which was the game changer that I was looking for.
Cool. So how the audience can learn more about that, they can obviously get the book. I see it behind you on the shelf there, Why They Buy.
Yep. They can pick it up, whytheybuy.com, hard copy or digital copy. And cool. It's one of those things that's just kind of mind-blowing. When you read it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like massive aha breakthroughs and cool stories that show how it works.
Yeah, and of course, most of our folks here are with the JPAR network, and they can go to our unique URL and crack their own code, right? They can go to...
Yeah, so we developed this technique that can crack someone's code. We do it face-to-face. Like, I actually created a little set of 4 cards, and again, I didn't know if this would work. I'd hand them to my client, and I'd ask them to sort these 4 cards in order based on what was most important to least important to them. And that's kind of the genesis of the bank system. And then we developed a technology where they can do it online now, a quick little assessment. It's normally $97. That sends them a report that tells them all about what their bank code is. Think like DISC or MBTI or any of those types of things, except completely different. And with JPAR, your audience has the chance to do it free. They just need to use an access code. So we can give them that link and access code, and it will allow everyone to go out there and crack their code and get a report that shows you exactly kind of how this whole system works.
Yeah, so we'll put the mybankcode.com/JPAR link in when we publish this episode, and we'll get them all to crack their code and learn a little bit more about it.
Perfect.
Well, it's just been a pleasure hearing your success story, really from breakdown to breakthrough, really, right?
Yeah, I've heard all these things like 0 to hero or What's another one I heard was you went from the edge to the ledge. I like, or the outhouse to the penthouse. But you know, everybody has a story, and mine is just one of them. What I really get excited about, and why I love working with you, Mark, is I get excited about the person who uses this system and has their own breakthrough, right? And I know that that's what you're passionate about too. At JPAR is, I've had realtors use this system and get 100% listing rates after implementing the bank system in simply their approach. It's just a tweak on the approach, but it's scientific in nature. It's kind of like we give you the paint by numbers grid behind the scenes that turns selling into an art when you know the science. I've had realtors that sold 25 homes that went close to 90 homes in just 1 year, that started winning all kinds of chairman's awards and all kinds of stuff, just using that. And that's what I'm passionate about, because when you see someone who struggled like I did, I mean, I was burning the candle at both ends and felt like I was working 24/7 and going to every networking event and BNI and Chamber of Commerce and all those types of things, and was just exhausted chasing or playing the numbers game. So there is a better way.
There is a better way. And I think that as we wrap up this episode of Success from Scratch, you know, that's the key thing. There is a better way. And all of these interviews bring out such great things for the audience. So before we wrap up, any last words of wisdom?
Well, you know what? I love the title of your episode, Success from Scratch, and it reminded me of cooking. You know, anybody who makes something from scratch ultimately generates a recipe, and that recipe is the recipe for success. So happy to share my recipe with you, and guys, just get out there. There are things that you can do to implement to create success for you in shorter periods of time. And that's really what JPAR is committed to doing, is finding those things and bringing them to you. And Mark, I'm so happy to be a small part of your success with JPAR and trying to help more people crack the personality code and take it to the bank.
Yeah, take it to the bank. Well, with that, we'll see you soon on another episode of Success from Scratch.